A dream wedding quickly transformed into a nightmare when my fiancé's ex crashed the ceremony and revealed his secret affair. Last week I, 31F, was supposed to marry my fiancé, 35M, of 3 years. He was the love of my life. During those 3 years, we shared a deep bond, full of love, care, and support. We had our ups and downs, but we always managed to overcome them. When he proposed to me at the end of last year, everything felt like a fairy tale. I was ecstatic. Together, we meticulously planned our dream wedding for a year. I even took a month off work to ensure everything went smoothly: the food, the drinks, the music. We invited all our friends and family to celebrate with us. But instead of a joyous celebration, that day has left a dark stain on my life. It shattered my trust and broke me completely. Even now, I question myself. Did I do the right thing? Did I overreact? Should I have seen it coming? My best friend encouraged me to share my story on Reddit. I'm attempting to write everything down, and I ask you to be gentle. I'm hoping you all can offer some guidance. It all began a few weeks before our wedding day. Everything seemed to be going smoothly, except for a small incident that, looking back, should have raised red flags. A few days before the big day, my fiancé returned home looking visibly upset. I immediately sensed something was wrong and pressed him to share what was on his mind. Reluctantly, he confessed that his ex-girlfriend had contacted him, asking if she could attend our wedding. She apparently wanted to be part of his special day. I was taken aback. This ex-girlfriend of his had never been fond of me. They had been high school sweethearts, but their relationship ended when he left for college, and she struggled to accept that he had moved on. In the early days of our relationship, she would incessantly text him from different numbers, call him late at night, and even once drunkenly professed her love for him at a party. It was unsettling, and I genuinely felt she needed help. Throughout it all, he stood by me, trying to reason with her, but she remained fixated on him, insisting that I was just a passing affair. After the incident at the party where she declared her love for him publicly, I confronted her and blocked her from our lives. He assured me he would never let her come between us again. I felt immense relief hearing those words. I had mostly forgotten about her. It had been 2 years since we last saw her. Everything was fine until one day we ran into her at a mutual friend's birthday party. She was back in town for her cousin's wedding. I assumed that after all this time, and given that she was in a relationship, she would have moved on. Boy, was I wrong. She was as rude as ever. When she talked to my fiancé, she barely acknowledged my presence, as if I didn't exist. Her boyfriend kept trying to interject, but she ignored him, focusing solely on my fiancé and their shared past. She even went so far as to ask him to dance, a request I refused immediately, feeling disrespected and humiliated. I was baffled that my fiancé would even consider inviting her to our wedding. I told him I was uncomfortable with her attending, and he agreed, saying he would talk to her. I thought that was the end of it, but it was far from over. A few days later, I received a friend request from his ex on Facebook. Her message was a generic, "I really hope to celebrate Jade's happiness. Can we put it all behind us?" The message only heightened my suspicions. Given her history, I found it hard to believe her sweet demeanor was genuine. My gut told me she was up to something. I decided to ignore her and hoped she would leave me alone. When she tried to text me again, I blocked her. Confrontation isn't my strong suit, and given her penchant for making scenes, I preferred to avoid any conflict. Instead, I talked to my fiancé, who assured me he would handle the situation. The following days were uneventful as I focused on my bridal shower and other wedding preparations. I thought the issue was resolved until the wedding day arrived. I stood there, radiant in my beautiful gown, ready to take my vows. Our wedding party was perfectly dressed, and everyone was set. Suddenly, my maid of honor was approached by someone who informed her about an uninvited guest causing a scene. I heard the commotion and soon discovered a crowd had gathered around a woman screaming. It was my fiancé's ex, clad in the tiniest dress I had ever seen, her face heavily made up. My heart sank. I was terrified she would cause a scene at my wedding. I immediately called for security, but before they could act, she stormed up the altar. Bridesmaids tried to pull her away, but she was relentless, screaming and making threats. Her gaze was menacing, and she demanded my fiancé tell her the truth, or she would that I didn't deserve to be there. He stood silent, looking as if he had seen a ghost. I was mortified. Shouldn't he be defending me? Why was he so eerily quiet? I pulled my fiancé aside while the groomsmen and friends attempted to de-escalate the situation. I did my best to remain calm and asked him why she was there. He feigned ignorance, insisting he had no idea how she got the address, but I knew she couldn't have shown up without someone tipping her off. I pressed him again, pleading for honesty. To my shock, his response was to hush me, telling me to let her stay. He claimed all she wanted was to wish us a happy life because they shared a past. Red flags were blaring in my mind. How could he side with his ex, especially when she had shown nothing but disrespect towards us? I began to argue with him, but he remained unyielding. At that moment, I knew he was hiding something. Just then, I saw my best friend, Dee, approaching with a deathly glare. She took my hand and revealed that the ex had just told her that she and my fiancé had spent the night together last week. According to the ex, she had called him over, and while they were talking, they realized they still had feelings for each other. I didn't need any more confirmation. His pale face said it all. He started to apologize, insisting it was all a huge misunderstanding, but I couldn't hear him. All I could do was cry. I felt like I was on the verge of a panic attack. My dream day was shattered, and the woman who had orchestrated it all stood there, smirking as if she had won. I somehow managed to walk out of the ceremony. He tried to follow me, pleading with my friends for help and shouting at his ex, but it was too late. My parents intervened, and somehow, they managed to silence him. The wedding was over, and so was our relationship. I begged someone to drive me home. I've done nothing but cry for days. This was supposed to be my honeymoon week, but here I am, sitting in the home I decorated with him, all alone and heartbroken. I keep asking myself how this could happen to me. I have no energy left. I can't eat, sleep, or drink. My phone keeps ringing, but I can't even bring myself to get out of bed. I just want to be left alone right now. I don't feel like talking to anyone. My best friend and others have been supportive, but I still feel overwhelmed. It doesn't help that he keeps calling me from different numbers. I don't know what to do next. Part of me wants to talk to him, to ask why he did this to me, but I know it's pointless. He cheated on me, and there's no coming back from that. On the other hand, I fear I might be overreacting. Some of our friends think I'm letting the ex win and that I should at least talk to him. This has left me more confused than ever. I don't know if walking out was the right thing to do. Should I talk to him? I really need advice. Update 1. Hello everyone. First, I want to thank you all for your kind and supportive comments. I apologize for the delay in updating. I just hadn't been up to it, but I have been reading all your advice. I was questioning my actions, but your support has given me so much hope. You're right. I am better off without him. He cheated on me, and it's truly over. I have decided not to doubt myself anymore. Many of you shared your own stories, and that has been incredibly comforting. At least I know I'm not alone. I don't have anything groundbreaking to share, but since I've received a few DMs asking for an update, I thought I'd post one and address some of your questions. It's been 2 weeks since that terrible day. Since we had already paid for everything, my friends and family apologized to the guests. My parents have been incredibly understanding. My dad even made sure to have my locks changed because he has threatened to come over multiple times. He even enlisted some friends to try and talk sense into me. He left several voice notes, begging to come over, insisting that he just wants to talk. I can't even look at him right now. What does he want from me? I'm already devastated. Update 1. I don't know what I'd do without my family and friends. I am so grateful for their support. They've been keeping away and ensuring he doesn't come near me, but I'll admit, I'm feeling a bit scared. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I'm starting to feel paranoid in my own home. I has gone from being remorseful to outright angry. I can't even recognize the man he's become. Many of you have asked if he actually cheated on me or if this was just drama stirred up by his ex. The answer is yes, he did cheat. I wish it weren't true. I want to believe it wasn't. He even tried to manipulate me, claiming it was all a misunderstanding. Given the history with his ex, I might have believed him. But she had pictures. She shared them with Dee that very day. Let's just say they were enough to confirm the cheating. A few people have DM'd me asking if I had any doubts about A, especially since he cheated on me just a week before the wedding. As I mentioned before, he had never given me any reason to doubt him. We live in a shared house that we both pay for. Looking back, he was supposed to be at his bachelor party the week this happened. His phone was unreachable, but I assumed it was because he was busy with his friends. When we met the next day, he seemed a bit fidgety, but I attributed it to the stress of the upcoming wedding. I wish I had pressed him that day itself. It might have saved me from so much humiliation. I'm doing my best to get through this. Fortunately, my fiancé and I hadn't bought a house yet, so I'll be moving out in a few days. I've discarded my old phone number because I was overwhelmed with calls and messages. I kept calling and texting incessantly, and his ex sent me some harsh messages. The audacity of her to call me dramatic after everything she put me through. I wanted to scream at her, but I realized that drama is her whole world. I've blocked her to preserve my peace of mind. My best friend has been amazing, staying with me to lift my spirits. She's taken over cooking and cleaning so I don't feel overwhelmed. My parents agree that I need a fresh start. I can't imagine what could have happened if I had gone through with the wedding. I'm relieved I didn't marry a cheater. Things are tough right now, but I hope they will get better. Thank you to everyone who commented. I'll keep you all updated. Update 2. It's been a few weeks since my last update. Things have been quite interesting, and I thought I should share what's been going on with this wonderful community. It's not a happy update, but I've uncovered more truth about the situation, and I feel the need to talk about it. I guess Reddit is becoming my therapy, lol. A few days ago, I received a call on my new number. It was surprising because I hadn't shared my new number with anyone except my best friend and my parents. I was hesitant to answer, thinking it might be A, but my curiosity got the better of me, and I picked up. It was Dee's boyfriend who called me. He mentioned that he and some mutual friends wanted to come over to our house to check on me and have a small get-together. He said it was meant to be a low-key event where I could vent and that he just wanted to cheer me up. This felt a bit off since Dee hadn't mentioned anything about such an event. She was with me until this morning and then left for work. At this point, A and I share some mutual friends, and I had a gut feeling that this get-together was more than what it seemed. Besides, I wasn't in the mood to have people over. He explained that it was a surprise and just needed to know my schedule so I wasn't busy. I told him I wasn't up for having people over because I needed some time alone. He didn't take it well. I turned him down multiple times, but he kept pushing, insisting I should give them a chance and that talking to friends would make me feel better. I told him I'd get back to him if I changed my mind, but not right now. After ending the call, I texted my best friend, asking if she had shared my number with her boyfriend and if he was organizing this get-together with our mutual friends. Dee sounded genuinely surprised and told me she had no idea what I was talking about. She reassured me not to worry and said she would talk to him to find out what this was about. Last night, Dee sat me down and revealed she had taken a break from her boyfriend after discovering some shocking news. That's when I learned how my ex had tried to rally all my friends to his side. My best friend told me that he had spun a fabricated story, claiming we had been fighting for months before the wedding and that he was forced to reach out to his ex. Yes, they had been in contact for months. Half of our friends believed I was a manipulative B*******, and that he was a saint who made a minor mistake in the heat of the moment. I can't believe I was listening to these people and doubting myself all this time. They had all decided to talk to me, thinking they could fix things for us. He had manipulated them into believing that we shouldn't throw away 3 years of our relationship. Honestly, I'm at a loss for words. Was this the man I loved? The one who was orchestrating these mind games against me? He had been emotionally cheating on me for months while pretending to be the perfect fiancé. How could I have been so blind? What's worse is that I was busy planning our dream wedding while he kept going back to his ex. I don't believe the cheating was a one-time thing. How long were they deceiving me? I've been replaying every small incident from the past year in my head. Who knows how many times I've been fooled? I feel like that woman has won. She has ruined my life. Needless to say, I'm struggling with a lot of trust issues right now. I thought the wedding day was the end of my troubles, but the pain has continued. I've been having panic attacks every night. The only silver lining has been my best friend and my parents. My dad has been my hero. He went to my ex's house and let him have it, threatening to file a restraining order if he didn't stop. Dee also sent a message to everyone who was on A's side, clarifying that I had not been truthful and that if they tried to force us into the same room, we would cut ties with them as well. Some people even argue with her, saying she shouldn't meddle in our business. Can you believe that? Thankfully, things have been quieter since then. I've applied for an extended leave from work because I really need a break from this town. Maybe a vacation or a short trip will help me clear my mind. I'll keep you updated if anything new happens. Update 3. Dear Reddit community, thank you all for your incredible support and love. The past month has been traumatizing. I've struggled to eat, sleep, and trust anyone. I never imagined a bunch of strangers on the internet could be so kind and supportive. I honestly don't know what I would have done without you all. As promised, here's another update. I've finally moved out of our shared apartment and am currently staying with Dee, reminiscing about old times, lol. We're looking for new places to settle. I initially thought about going on a solo honeymoon, but I didn't want to relive those memories. I've stopped crying at night and am finally getting some sleep. I didn't want to mess it up. We've heard from some mutual friends that the ex has been trying to reconnect with A. She showed up at his house uninvited, offering to take care of him, but he turned her down. Now she's hurt because A has made it clear she'd always be a side piece. I just laughed. They say A is quite devastated, and everyone who would listen has told him he messed up big time. The so-called friends who took his side are also angry with him. For all I care, he can go to hell. I'm done with the drama. I loved and cared for him for 3 years, and he threw that all away without a second thought. I'm not trying to be a B********H, but hearing that he's suffering feels oddly satisfying right now. He deserves it. I'm doing my best to move on. Last night, Dee and I burned all the photos of him and me, and I'm trying to sell the engagement ring too. and is still trying to contact me, even getting his family to beg on his behalf. I'm amused by his audacity. He and others have berated him multiple times, yet he can't seem to stop. He keeps calling and texting from different numbers. I'm not changing my number again. I keep blocking him. His misery is almost like entertainment to me at this point. Update 4. Dear Redditors, the last 2 months have taught me so much. I've gone from planning a wedding to losing everything to finding myself. I've realized I'm far stronger than I ever thought I could be. I couldn't have done it without you. Many of you kept commenting and sending me lovely messages. I never felt alone. Y'all are incredibly kind. It's time for me to move on and start afresh. After living in my hometown for all these years, I've moved to a whole new city. I don't want to jinx it, but I've landed a job opportunity with a pay almost double what I was making before. It's in a quiet town, which should help me find some peace for a while. Some friends and Dee have helped me settle into a new house, and I'm really excited to begin this new chapter. This is the start of a new journey in my life, and I am feeling very hopeful. Additionally, I've resumed therapy to help me through this transition. Update 3. Continued. I should have never stopped talking about it. Sharing my feelings has made it so much easier. Right now, my parents are helping me pay for therapy, and my mental health has been steadily improving since the whole fiasco. Many of you pointed out the importance of not dwelling on negative feelings, and you were right. My therapist is helping me navigate my emotions, and I feel so much better these days. The pain is still there, but I've been coping well. As for my ex, he has finally stopped contacting me. I hear his parents and friends have cut him off too. He's facing a lot of backlash for his actions. I feel nothing for him now. Things have turned so ugly that I've stopped caring. I've also cut off many people I thought were my friends. Now I want to focus solely on my own well-being. Before I go, I want to thank you all again. I hope my experience has been helpful to some of you. Thank you for your kindness. Now, on to the next chapter. Story 2. She didn't want to go out with me but said yes anyway. Then I found her shady social media. I, 26M, found her, 28F, TikTok after we went on a date. This is honestly not something I expected to post about, but here's what happened. I've known this woman, 28F, for a while since we share the same friend groups. She's a nice person, attractive, and I've always enjoyed our conversations. A few weeks ago, I decided to ask her out on a date. I figured if she said no, it was no big deal, but she actually agreed. We went out this past Saturday, and I thought the date was amazing. We had dinner, drinks, and spent the night talking. We even took a walk on a bridge over the town's lake. It's not a big one. I dropped her off and was elated. I absolutely loved the night. However, that night, while scrolling through TikTok in bed, a post from her, I didn't follow her nor knew she had a TikTok, popped up on my For You page. In the post, she said, "Getting ready for a date I really don't want to go to." It felt like a bucket of ice water was thrown over me. I was so happy after our date, and then I found out she didn't even want to go on it. Look, I'm not saying she has to be thrilled to go out with me, but it would have been nice to know up front. We could have just skipped the date if she wasn't interested. But posting about it online? That really made me self-conscious. Now I'm torn about what to do. Should I confront her about seeing the post, or should I just let it go? Honestly, it really hurt, and I'm not sure I want to give this another shot. If she didn't want to go out with me in the first place, what's the point? Update. Hello everyone. Some people have reached out through comments and chat, asking for an update on the situation. Sadly, there isn't much to share right now, but I'll provide what I can. Please understand that I won't be discussing this further or replying to comments. Thank you for your understanding. After last week's post, I read almost every comment, or at least most of them. I'm grateful to everyone who commented and shared their personal stories. Some mentioned that feeling anxious and not wanting to go out is normal, and that I shouldn't overthink it. While I agree that it's okay to feel that way, what bothered me the most was that she felt the need to post a TikTok for a large audience. I'm quite private by nature, and even my social media accounts, like Instagram, have only a single post. I don't like to share too much, and I don't want to be with someone who does. It's fine for her to share whatever she wants, but I just don't want to be part of that. Update. So I decided not to contact her. I chose to pretend I had never seen the post and let things be. I understand that many might think this isn't the best choice, but I feel it's the best course for both of us. Last Thursday, a few friends who also know her invited me out for drinks. While we were at the bar, enjoying our drinks, a mutual friend asked how my date went, as our circle was aware that we went out. I didn't want to say much, so I just replied, "Oh, it was good, but I don't think we clicked." This friend then said, "We figured," which made me feel uneasy. When I asked what he meant, he hesitated but eventually mentioned that they had seen a TikTok post from her about not wanting to go out. At this point, I didn't really know what to say. The situation is just incredibly messy for me, but there's not much I can do about it. I wasn't going to bring it up, nor did I try to look for any updates on her part. In fact, I deleted TikTok after that incident. It just wasn't doing me any good. Nevertheless, this past Saturday, she sent me a text. She mentioned that she enjoyed our date and asked if I wanted to go out again. I understood that she had genuinely enjoyed our time together. However, I realized that I prefer to be with someone who keeps their personal life more private. It's just a personal preference that I feel is better for me. Therefore, I decided to be honest with her. I sent a text explaining that while I had a great time on our date, enjoyed her company, and thought she was an amazing person, I came across her TikTok post from the night of our date on my For You page. It made me feel quite self-conscious. Despite understanding that she enjoyed the date despite her feelings at the time of the post, I didn't feel comfortable pursuing a relationship with someone who shares so much of their life online. I wished her all the best and expressed hope that she finds someone whose lifestyle aligns better with hers. She has seen the message but hasn't responded since. I don't expect her to reply, and I anticipate that our social interactions will be limited in the future. I apologize if this update isn't what you were hoping for, but unfortunately, that's how the situation unfolded. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good day.